Alright guys, what we got today, if you'll remember, we did the head studs on the D16. I've shot a video already of when I first got them, and I actually put them later that evening. I got a little ice cream bowl and put them all down in it, put some oil in it. They've been soaking in oil. I hadn't had a chance to shoot this video yet, but let's take a look at them. Let's see how they turned out. We're going to wipe them down. You'll be able to see exactly how the process went with where they were rusty and had surface rust and stuff on them. You can go back and watch that video in another post we did. So once you see that, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here. We had some used head studs not used rather. They were, I bought them and a guy had just let them get surface rust all over them, and now they're been soaking in oil. So we're gonna see what they turn out like and see if it's something we could reuse. All right, let's check them out here. All right, so there they go in this bucket. Let's get you zoomed in here so you can see what we got. Let's get in here. I think we... All right, so there we go. All right, so now, and what you're looking at is just merely, it's just oil, just engine oil, just a standard, no particular brand or anything, just a cheap oil, just to be able to soak these things in some oil. We didn't do anything special. I haven't done any kind of preparation or anything to these, so you'll see they're soaked with oil here, and they've been soaking for a little while. And the idea was, could we reuse these things once, if we clean them up or whatever. So you can see there's still a little rust in them. I just think that these are 100% usable. Seeing the surface rust, they clean up just fine. It's an actual stud, it's ARP studs. I'm thinking they're like a D16 Y8, but yeah, I don't see the problem here. We did soak them for a while. They ended up being a lot longer than I had anticipated. So we finally got a chance to, now that we got the shop a little more clean. I wasn't even planning on getting a shop, but it kind of happens that way sometimes. So you can see that overall, they turned out pretty good. There's, the rust looks pretty good. There's no real residue. Let's see if we can get to one of the worst ones, or one of the ones that was pitted real bad. I'm gonna have oil everywhere. But as you can see here, I mean, they're coming pretty clean. Yeah, so that just goes to show, just put some oil on them. Didn't have to soak them near as long as what we've had them in there. It's not really that big a deal to, honestly, I would probably myself, maybe a couple of days, or a day or so, really, honestly. And if you just wanted to, you could probably just wipe them down with some oil if you were just in a hurry to get it done. Let me get another rag here, and this one's getting pretty dirty pretty quick. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, positively, still 100% usable. What the deal was is when I got these things, if you watch the other video, they were rusty, had a ton of rust on them, surface rust. And I was just proving a point here that, even if you were going to buy some and you could get a real good deal on them, if they were rusted or not been taken care of, would they still be worth actually purchasing if you could get them at the right price? Honestly, this is proven here that beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now there's starting to see where some of the pitting was in this one, but if you can tell right there, there's just, it's just the coating. Yeah, and I mean and in the bottom of this bowl, I don't know if I'll be able to show you exactly what's going on here, but see, here's one that was a little more on the actual threads. But I mean, they're, yeah, 100%. Guys, got a little surface rust on them, not gonna hurt them. Well, as far as just your regular ARPs, now if you were doing a 625 plus head stud, and the 625 plus are the aged ones that are a lot more expensive and take a lot more power. So if you can see all the trash that's in that bowl, this bowl was clean when I actually put the oil in it, and so you can see all the trash that came off of them. And so what you have is flaking and the rust and residue off the coating or whatever. So, you know, honestly, gotta say, guys, I think 100% that turned out to be a win on those bolts. I think for the money, if you can get a good deal on them and they just happen to be a little surface rust, maybe even if they're used, you know, I don't think it would be a problem if somebody didn't run a ton of horsepower. If somebody wasn't running 500-600 horse, I still say reuse them. What I would do if I did reuse some ARP head studs is I would actually order a second washer, and I would double washer all of them if they're used. And the reason is that if they did stretch by chance, which more than likely they didn't, if they're, you know, not using a ton of power and not really, you know, just beating on the car and just, or not maintenance, if it ran hot, if there was a bunch of issues there, then I would still put the double washer on them just to be safe. And what that does is if they do stretch by chance, then you put that second washer on there, then instead of, when you tighten them down, you thread it in, it'll bottom out. Okay, so when it bottoms out, if that head stud's stretched, so you put your head on, then you put your washer on and your nut. When you tighten that down, well, if it doesn't get tight and pull the head down, it's actually just gonna get tight onto the stud. Well, you torque it, it's not actually pulling the head down, it's driving the stud further down into the hole. And if it bottoms out and it's still not got the head down 100% where it needs to be, you're gonna blow a head gasket first thing. It's just not gonna compress the head, it's not gonna torque it as it should. So if you double washer it, it takes any question of that, you know, that if they are stretched at all, then you double washer it. There's plenty enough bolt left to double washer it. And when you double washer it, you guarantee that it's going to compress the head and seal that gasket. So that way you don't run a risk of blowing a head gasket or something if by chance they did end up having an issue, overheating issue, or just run a ton of power and stretch those head studs. So you can reuse them if it's not in your budget. You do want to get a hardened steel washer, because if they do bend or flex, and you do want to get the same size as what's on it, so you want to be consistent with that. So would I reuse them? Absolutely, 100%. Would I take precautions if they had stretched or something of that case? Yes, I would. I would probably double wash them and just run them as if they were brand new. I wouldn't have a problem reusing head studs, especially ARP. They make amazing parts. They make amazing components. I've ran ARPs for years. I personally have double washered one. We had one that didn't seal. Come to find out, the head studs were stretched, and we did put that on a built B16. It's an 84 millimeter sleeve B16. Art, the guy that you'll see him in some of the other videos, one of my friends here. He's still running that motor to this day. It's been running for years. Made quite a bit of power. I mean, it's super fast in a Honda Civic. Then it was, I think it's in an Integra now, and he's gonna set it back up to boost it. So you'll probably end up seeing that engine. So yeah, 100%. I have reused them. I personally have reused head studs. They were stretched. We did find out the hard way. And we double washed them, no problem. No problem. Not had a problem since. And if you have a situation like this where you just get a real good deal and they got some surface rust, would you be concerned with, maybe they won't hold the power that they're designed to take? It really depends on the condition of the stud itself. If they're really, really, really extremely pitted, no. If it's maybe just slide, just the coating and maybe just right at starting to get into the metal, I would still run them, especially, if I'm gonna do 300 horse or so, not just running on the ragged edge. But when you start making 400 or 500, it's a whole different ball game. So if you're making 400 or 500, you don't want to risk anything. You don't want to take any risk whatsoever. So absolutely, if they look rough, I wouldn't use them on a high horse motor. That's just my opinion. Again, everything we do is just based off of our opinions. So take it for what it's worth. That's my opinion. But yeah, these 100%, I would use these any day of the week. I would, whatever build I wanted to do, whatever these ARP studs are rated at with that particular motor. If it's, let's say that those ARP studs are rated at 500 horse, I would run them without any hesitation. So that goes to show you guys, if you run across some good deals, you don't have to buy everything absolutely brand new if you're just trying to budget shop. That just tells you that you can still build a 500 horse motor with some studs that you bought used off of a buddy that just, maybe had some surface rust and you just didn't need them, and it saves you some money. So absolutely, 100% guys. So there you go, there you have it. That's my opinion of buying a used part with a little surface rust. And this is part 2 of the original video I shot with this stuff, with a better camera now. And I'm sorry if I keep glancing off. It's got I can see the screen and it makes me want to look. But anyway, that's our video for today. Appreciate you watching it. I've been meaning to shoot this video already. Sorry it took so long. But if you will, follow us on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the little bell for your notifications. That way when we do post a video, you can actually get it as soon as we list it. Follow us on Instagram at Chesser Enterprises. We're on Facebook as well. So check us out there. If you want to email us, chesserenterprises@yahoo.com. And if you have any questions, gripes, complaints, anything you want to see, just give us a shout and we'll try to get it posted and hang in there with us. And thanks for watching our videos, guys. Thanks.